All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do us a favor, sign up for YouTube, hit the bell for notifications, and of course, upvote the video itself. We would appreciate it. I'm here for our weekly segment. I think we missed last week, but that's okay, with Tom Vanderford. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, we've had a busy week since you missed out on the show. I tried to be absolutely everywhere, and I think I've done a pretty good job of that, but I'm sure there's some people pissed off at me right now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's fun. I like putting the interviews out on social media. I like doing all of that stuff on TikTok. I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff. Anyway, first scrimmage is tomorrow. This is Scrimmage Eve. And what are you looking forward to the Rebels accomplishing in Scrimmage preseason game number 1?
Man, I want to see how the quarterbacks perform. I think that's important. From everything I've read, there are good things and bad things that all three of them are doing. I'd like to see, and this is just me personally, I'd like to see there starting to be a little bit of separation as time goes on, and whoever it is, just for cohesiveness and getting things going. Like we've talked before, I know we're going to run the balls 65% of the time at least. But and we should. We got a good offensive line. We've got very good running backs. So, but I want to see how the quarterbacks perform. I want to see how the linebacker depth is. I know people have talked about that, but from what little I've heard, we've got. I think we're a little bit deeper if we just run 2 linebackers than maybe. Some think. A couple of the freshmen are looking good. Keys is back. They say he's showing out. So I think we may be a little bit. We won't be as seasoned because as far as the people that have been at Ole Miss and been in the system, Ashanti's the only one with a lot of experience, and he don't have a whole lot. He only started a couple of games last year because. Of targeting penalties. Of course, he did good when he was there. Led the team in tackles against Louisville. Had a great game against A&M. But I think maybe that's what Lane's talking about when he says it's a little uneasy at linebacker. He's got some guys. He's got some good guys that transferred in, but they don't know the system yet. And so I'm looking to see linebacker now. Secondary. I keep hearing that we've got that we're deep at safety and that we've got really good corners, and defensive line. I hear we've got plenty of depth there. So linebacker and quarterback are my big things. I do believe that we're going to be, and this is hard for some people to believe, but I think we're going to be better at wide receiver this year than we were last year.
Yeah, Mike Espy says this has the potential to be the number 1 unit on the team by the time this year is done, which I don't know if I believe that. I think that's a wide receiver talking about wide receivers.
Right, but, exactly. But, we've got so many. We got Jalen Knox, Braylon Brown. We got the Davis kid from Biggersville that I can't even think of his first name right now.
Quite.
We've got, Jalen Robinson. We've just got a ton of talent, and then we've got 2 really good tight ends. Kelly's a good tight end. He brings you a certain skill set, and then you've got Trigg, which is a man-child. So I'm really looking forward to those, the linebackers and the quarterbacks, because in my mind, and I could be completely off base, those are our weak points. So if we can fix that, we should have a really good team.
Yeah, and quarterback being the weak point, that's obviously an issue. But linebacker, you have to remember, there's 9 other players on that defense besides those 2.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. It allows you to have a little bit more leeway at the linebacker position, and it might be better than you think it's going to be. There's more margin for error. It's,
Exactly. So, when they made the and I may be incorrect, but when they started talking about problems at linebacker, they didn't know if Keys was going to come back 100% or not. They didn't know how the freshmen were going to play. So, I think it's a little bit better than they had thought. But the quarterback thing is just, for this year especially, we need a field general. We need a Jay Barker.
A.J. McCarron. I've said that, yeah.
A.J. McCarron. We need somebody like that. Somebody that's going to be take really good care of the ball, limit turnovers, dump off to his backs when he needs to. And I'm perfectly happy with whoever that is. Yeah, I am thrilled that we've got 3 quarterbacks that can play in the SEC. I don't think we've ever had, especially Altmaier and Dart. I don't think we've ever had 2 people the caliber of Altmaier and Dart at the same time. The only issue with them is they're both sophomores. So, it's a lot different being a sophomore in the SEC and being a senior in the SEC or a 4th-year junior.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this quarterback competition, people are going to get lost a little bit in the minutia of it, because I think they might know even after this weekend which direction they're going to go. Maybe after next weekend which direction they're going to go. That doesn't mean we're going to find out about it. They're not going to tell us anything. I tell people all the time, the Louisville game last year when we came out in a completely different defense that surprised absolutely everybody. If that can happen, we're not going to find out a thing about this quarterback competition.
No. We won't know who's going to take the first snap until they take the first snap.
All
That's
right.
just Lane Kiffin's MO, man. He's not gonna show any cards.
Yeah, it's all about finding an advantage, something to win competitively. They do it in recruiting all the time. That's the reason all this cutting edge stuff happens, because he's an early adopter and he's trying to find that edge. That's just
right.
In his DNA.
Yep, exactly. And it's a wonderful thing to have if you're an Ole Miss Rebel fan.
Yeah.
He's constantly trying to improve. He's a continuous improvement. He's always trying to find the next thing that he can make better.
Yeah, and there's no such thing. I always joke that, like they said when you were probably in, there's no such thing as a 5-0 sailor.
Exactly.
On every rep, he's going to find something wrong with it and a way to make it a little bit better.
Exactly. Like Matt Corral said last year, he crawled his rear end all the time. It's just how you make it better, and that's that pro mindset. And I'm also interested, real quick, in the scrimmage. I want to see how the kids that have been there a long time and the transfers, I want to see how they gel. I want to see how they work as a unit, both on offense and defense. Defense more than offense, because we had a lot more transfers on defense than we did on offense. But
somebody like Dennis Jackson, it's kind of put up or shut up time for him, though.
Exactly, because there's so much talent there, and and Dennis is the probably one of the best 2 with Mingo returning receivers from last year. And he did some good things last year. But we have got tons of talent. I mean, Braylon Brown, Jalen, you just keep going. Robinson, these guys are, when I see the videos that are flashing around on the internet of Robinson, he reminds me a whole lot of number 8.
Yeah, we've been trying not to do that, but yes, he's definitely a phone booth type player.
Exactly. Now I don't. Yeah, he's something that we were missing last year. Trigg's something we were missing last year, and wide receiver depth was something that we were missing last year, and I think we've got a lot more depth at wide receiver than we had last year. We went pretty deep last year at wide receiver. So we took a corner and put him at receiver in the LSU game. That's how we were mad. We needed people. So Miles Battle actually played a little receiver against LSU. So I think we've got enough depth this year. We won't have to do that. And I keep hearing great things about the corners. I keep hearing we're extremely deep at cornerback. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember a time ever that we've been extremely deep at cornerback.
Yeah, I think Davison Igmanosin's going to start.
I do too. I do too. He is good. He is good, and he's supremely intelligent. Got a high football IQ, and once again, they go to New Jersey and pick somebody up. I think Tywan Malone's going to play a lot more this year.
Oh yeah.
I think this is just me. I could be wrong, but I think in certain instances, and Kiffin kind of alluded to it a little bit in the press conference. I think in certain instances, our base is going to be the 3-2-6, but in certain instances, you may see some 4-2-5.
Yeah. And what that 4-2-5, I tried to explain it on my show from time to time. The 4-2-5 would be you take a box safety off the field and you replace him with a 3 technique.
Exactly.
And the defense is drop 7 instead of drop 8, and you can play a more conventional way. Now, you practice all this 3-2-6 stuff. You don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No.
But it does give you a different wrinkle and a different way you can play.
Exactly. So it's exciting. At the same time, you have to tamp your excitement because there is so much influx of new people. How cohesive are they going to be? Now, I've heard some things that they are, and they're getting more cohesive in each practice. So that's a good sign.
Part of me wonders if this culture stuff was just Lane Kiffin trying to find something to talk about negatively. It's like, hey,
I'm sure.
Yeah, just bring this down a little bit. But I mean, it could be true, but
it could be.
You just can't take their word for it. Yeah,
he learned from the GOAT. Saban can beat somebody 52-0 and be screaming at somebody. And after the game going, well, we just didn't execute good enough. We did this wrong. We did that wrong. And, I'm like, I see some of that in Kiffin. He's gonna just keep gnawing and gnawing and gnawing because, like you said, that perfection doesn't exist. There's always something that you can work on.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, get more of the SEC by making Locked On SEC your second listen every day. Chris Gordy and his local experts on Locked On take you across the SEC in 30 minutes. Make Locked On SEC your second listen. Locked On SEC. Tom, thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you next weekend. Next week, and we can talk a little bit about, at that point, preseason game number 2 and what we learned from preseason game number 1.
Sounds great, man. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy. See you next week.
Yes, sir.
Oh, goodness.